Good evening. Harder the barking German Shepherd. Ma'am, hey, that's enough. And out in the chicken run here, just doing some quick refilling food, changing out water, chores. Ma'am, that's enough. She is fairly certain that anytime we're out here, that she needs to be out here as well. Not out here as an outside. Out here. Hey, ma'am. As with the chickens. I'm just refilling chicken water. Listening to the barking German Shepherd. For the most part, they're in bed at this point in time. I've got a couple that decided to come out when I came out here. The rest are in the chicken coop. The very fancy, the sheet on top is just to help hold a little bit of extra warmth in while still allowing some good ventilation. All right, good evening. This is hopefully going to be fairly quick and fairly simple. I know the lighting sucks right now, but you know what? This is the time that I have to actually get video done. And so this is when we're going to do it. Please note, 1, messy floor. 2, growling dogs. They're going to be in the background. Probably noisy kids. Real life here. Okay, so I just took, these are trays that I've purchased because I like something that's sturdy enough that when I can carry pots around without accidentally dumping them, because I've definitely done that before. So washed this, scrubbed it real good with just hot soapy water. Same with my pots that I'm going to be reusing. And we're going to plant some onions. So this is all the potting soil I have. So when we run out of that, they're truly playing. They're not trying to eat each other, even though it sounds that way. So I'm going to get some onion seeds in the ground, just set it over on my grow shelf. My grow shelf is over there. It's just like a utility shelf. We just have one grow light right now because we went to the wider version of our shelf because I like to grow plants for everybody. The narrower one that would work for just 2 bulb shop light, we upgraded because I like to grow plants for everybody. You can grow a ton of plants just on a 2-3 tier shelf like that right there, just like the ones that are about a foot wide. Hang on. But I went to the wider one because I like to grow plants for everybody. So I put some water in this bag of soil because you want, it actually needs to be a little more damp. You want it to be if you're going to use a sponge or a rag to wipe off your counter, or you're just trying to clean up an area with a damp rag, kind of the dampness that you would want, that is kind of how I feel you want your soil. You don't want it dripping wet, but you want it fairly damp. This could use a little bit more, but I think it's all right. You want to be able to squeeze it, form it into a ball. Okay, so I'm just going to show you 1 or 2 because you don't need to see 6. Okay, so if I was doing more, I'd be putting the soil into a container so it's easier to just scoop the pots out. But we're going to do this. And then I'm going to take yellow Parma onions. I grew these last year. They're storing really well. The ones that we have growing in the basement are currently really good shape. Cooked some beans with one tonight. So there are the seeds. This one, yeah, I'm going to plant this pretty heavy. So I'm just sprinkling these. This is probably way too heavy. Well, yeah, let's do that. So I only put about half of those in there. And then I'm just going to take some soil, sprinkle over top, and press down. I definitely need to make the soil more damp, but I'll just put some water in the tray so it soaks up in. And that is going to be hopefully 20, 30, 40, 50 onions. We'll keep you posted as to how they germinate. This one, these seeds were left over from last year. Some seeds germinate just fine. Hang on. Some seeds germinate just fine after being a year old. I did read onion seeds don't like hold their germination rate quite as well as some other things will. That's why I planted those pretty thick. But I feel like a package of seeds, even if some of them don't germinate super well, is still pretty darn good in comparison with purchasing the sets or the starts. So I'm just going to do a second one real quick. Hi, buddy. So there's a second one. Okay, and then again, that's a whole ton of onion seeds. Probably too many. Yeah, we're just going reckless abandonment here. And then we're just going to press that down and call that good. All right, I'm going to fill the rest of that tray, but I wanted to show you a couple things before I finish up this video. I keep trying to make these long videos, and then I decide I'm too long-winded or not quite interesting enough, or don't feel like old soccer ball. Don't feel like editing the whole thing. So this is our grow shelf. We just have like a 4-bulb LED shop light on that. Like I said, before this, I just used like the 2-bulb narrower shelf. It worked fine. We grew, I mean, even at that scale, we grew all the plants for our garden, which is a substantial garden. All the plants, a lot of plants for our neighbors, plants for my coworkers. So I love giving plants away. It makes me happy, along with planting plants. Huh, buddy? Lucky says hello. Huh, buddy? I've heard some people say, you know, I don't have a greenhouse, so I don't have the space to start my plants. If you don't get too far ahead of yourself and start things too early, so they're too big. 2 young dogs in a house is a lot. Off, sir. Off. So if you don't get too far ahead, if you kind of like pay attention to when you should be setting things out, like I'm nowhere near needing to start tomatoes, but onions are great to start because they can handle cold and all of those things. Probably in a little bit, not quite yet. I'll start some brassicas. So if you pay attention to when you should start things and don't get too far ahead of yourself, just this amount of space in your basement, in the corner of one of your rooms, that kind of thing will be just fine. Now we are going to put a curtain or something and drape it down, because like if you're laying on the couch over here and there's a grow light on that top shelf, it will be like shining right in your face, and it's really uncomfortable. Dogs, off, right now, off, sir. I know. So this works fantastic. The other thing I want to show you is our window of sweet potatoes. We've got one. This one's been growing in this pot since last spring. My husband just got home. Dogs are going to be excited. So I'm going to see how well this can give us plants to start sweet potatoes this year. Here's another one. I started this one kind of late fall just to see what would happen, and it's got growth absolutely everywhere. This one I threw in later. It's got a little bit. And this one here I put in water. This is kind of how I start most of them, is in water, and we've got a leaf opening up there. Now, you don't have to have sweet potatoes started yet. This is mainly, I had some sweet potatoes in the basement that started sprouting from 2021 season. So it was more like, let's see if I plant them now, let them grow. 1, I get something green in my window, which makes me happy during the winter. And 2, we'll see what we can plant in the garden once we hit in this neck of the woods June. So that's how I start my onions. They're just going to go over on the grow shelf. I do have bottom heat, which does help. I haven't plugged that in yet, but like just a heat mat that goes underneath them. I'll possibly get that going. Nope. And these are how I start my sweet potatoes. Like I said, this is way early. I don't really need to have those started until March. This is an experiment. I'll probably still be starting some sweet potatoes in pots and in like water, like that one I showed you, come March. So I think that's everything. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Any comments from the peanut gallery?
What's up, peeps?
My husband Luke. Sometimes we let him talk in the videos. Sometimes I make him.
You always yell at me when you ask me to talk in the videos.
That's true.
Then apparently you have to edit more.
That is true. My husband's one of those, you're never 100% sure what's going to come out of his mouth. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it might be inappropriate and funny. Sometimes it makes me roll my eyes and take a deep sigh. True?
Everything you say is true, baby.
Smart man. All right. Thank you for joining us. See you in the next video. I hope you're having a great day wherever you are.